Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Sunday, September 29th, 2019. NFL Week 4. Just want to go through the early games and show you how they were fixed. Again, if you're not signed up for the Patreon page, you're missing out huge. I charge almost nothing for the best information in the industry for calling games, and not only for calling games, but just seeing how they are rigged and scripted so that you can wake up your friends and family so that they can stop investing their energy and time in these nonsensical games. Been doing this for 6 years. It's undeniable what we've proven. Called more championships from the start of seasons than anyone's ever done in a lifetime, just in a handful of years. And let's just go through it. The Titans at the Falcons. We like the Titans today because Mike Vrabel could become 11-9 as a coach. And the Falcons were the perfect team to become 11-9 again. Notice Falcons equals 119. If you look up Dan Quinn's birthday, the coach of the Falcons, who lost today, his birthday is September 11th. And you might recall the year the Falcons went to the Super Bowl and lost. The first Sunday of that season, the Falcons' first game was on September 11th. That was the same day Hillary Clinton did that claps thing, if you remember that. I know that wasn't sports related, but that was the day that season began. September 11th, a date written 11/9, like 119 in the majority of the world. And if you are new here, there's 4 base ciphers. You want to know them all. The alphabetic order with the rules numerology. Notice Falcons is 25. Remember the 25-point comeback on 2/5 by the Patriots. That was the 97th NFL season, the 25th prime number. Prime numbers, those that can only be divided by 1 in themselves. They moved the touchback to 25 yards that year. For the person calling in right now, I'll take calls in a moment. I'm just going to go through the games and then people can call in. But Falcons, 119. Mike Vrabel became 11-9 as a coach today. Perfect opponent for that to happen. Patriots and Bills. Close, ugly game. Calling the Patriots to beat the Bills is nothing to be proud of, but the clear sign that it would happen was through Josh Allen's record. Josh Allen became 5-3 at home today. 5-3 at home versus the Patriots. Patriots equals 53. Of course, they just won Super Bowl 53. Remember last year before the season began, we had Patriots beating Los Angeles in Super Bowl 53. Rematch of years past. Of course, that's exactly what happened. 53 is the 16th prime number. You had 16 combined points in the rigged Super Bowl. And the era of obscene scoring. Just to play with the minds of the fans. Everybody lost on the over-under. Patriots won with 16 points today as well. You see that? Patriots 53, the 16th prime. Also, the Patriots won their 8th straight game in Buffalo. A lot of streaks of 8 this year. If you followed me in baseball, streaks of 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Cam Newton earlier this year lost his 8th straight. Which was it, his 8th straight start earlier this year? The reason why is because 19 is the 8th prime number. It's 2019. So the Patriots won their 8th straight in Buffalo in 2019. Chiefs at Lions. You see how the Chiefs improved to 3-0 away? 3-0 away. Guess what Lions equals? 30, 3-0 away. And can the Chiefs start 5-0 again? Chiefs 50. We've seen that and do that several times in recent years. Chiefs 50. Now, Raiders and Colts, I described this as a dangerous game with a chance of a Raiders upset because there was that familiar number on the board with the Raiders. If the Raiders won today, they were going to become 5-2 at the Colts. 5-2. For those of you who followed me some time, you know about the Raiders in 52. One of the best. When I used to put out this information for free, it was Monday Night Football a few years back, 2 years back, 3 years back. I've lost track of time. But the Chiefs had a chance to fall to 5-2. The Raiders were going for their 52nd win versus the Chiefs all time. I believe the game was on a date with 52 numerology. There were just a few 52s on the board if the Raiders won. And the Raiders sucked at the time, and the Chiefs were one of the best teams in the league. And I said, this is a great game right here to make that killing. Raiders are going to win. It's all about 52. It's a big 52 ritual. And if you go back and look at the box score of that game, it was Derek Carr's 52nd pass that won it for the Raiders. And you might recall at the end of that game, there were about 1,000 yellow flags thrown. I think they had to do that final play like 9 times. There were so many straight penalties down at the goal line. And then finally, the Raiders score, 52nd pass, in the ritual that we said would be all about 52, Raiders win. Again, these games are scripted from the final score to the box score, just like how Tom Brady had 911 passing yards after last week's game, after beating the Jets, where it all began with the Jets after 9/11. 9/11, Patriot Act, Patriots, sports, the bread and circus for the distracted masses who can't see that they are enslaved to Big Brother. George Orwell, right? Now, the reason this was tough, the reason it wasn't a straightaway read with the Raiders is because there was just that 152 on the board. The Colts, Brissett, had a chance to become 6-6 at home, if I'm not mistaken, and Colts is 66. And in Jewish Gematria, NFL 66. And 66 is the 11th triangular number. And there's 11 men on the football field. And ESPN called this the year of the black quarterback. And black equals 11. Again, when you add 1 through 11 together, it's 66. So that was a narrative to consider too. But shout out to Darrell. Glad Darrell's Raiders won. Darrell, the big Raiders fan, who was recently out here visiting me, stoned off his ass in Washington State, having too many edibles. But I know he's a happy man today, and I'm glad his Raiders won for him. Chargers and Dolphins. Did you notice the Chargers became 2-2 today? What day is the Super Bowl in Miami? That's something to think about. The Super Bowl in Miami upcoming is on 2-2. And I'm not saying the Chargers are going to be in the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. I'm saying it's possible. But here's 3 things to think about with the Chargers, who just became 2-2 in Miami and just got their star running back by the numbers. Today was 169 days after his birthday. Square root of 13, LA equals 13. But here's 3 things to think about with the Chargers. The owner, Dean Spanos. The Super Bowl is going to be on his 253rd day of his age. If you add 1 through 22 together, it equals 253. Phillip Rivers. The Super Bowl is going to be on his 57th day of his age. Remember, when you write out 57 as a word, it sums to the same thing as Super Bowl, the same thing as championship. And then Anthony Lynn, the coach, it's going to be 43 days after his birthday, the Super Bowl. Chargers equals 43 like football. Shakira, who's one of the halftime performers, is going to turn 43 years old on the Super Bowl. So, something to think about. If you're on my Patreon, there's a few other scenarios that maybe look even more enticing, but just throwing it out there, something to think about with the Chargers. Redskins and Giants, it was all about the Redskins coach and QB, picking up their respective losses. One got the 33rd career loss today. The other got the 48th career loss. New York equals 33 and 48. Giants look good to go. Normally when the coach and the QB line up together with a respective win or loss versus an opponent, makes a whole lot of sense. So the Redskins, I think the QB got the 33rd loss and the coach got the 48th loss. Might be vice versa. I think it is that order. It's one of the two, but New York's 33 and 48. Browns at Ravens. I was telling my people for multiple weeks that the Browns were going to win this game. It was one of those very strong riddles and, the kind of game where you multiply your money. The Browns paid 3-1. So if you bet $100, you won $300 on the Browns today. And remember, the Baltimore Ravens were once the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns lost their team in the 90s, I believe 1996. They became the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if you look this up, the Ravens got their 169th franchise loss today, and today's Baker Mayfield's 169th day of his age. The reason that matters is because guess what Cleveland Browns equals? Cleveland Browns, 169. Today, the Ravens picked up their 169th regular season loss on Baker Mayfield's 169th day of his age. And you see how Cleveland Browns is also 83? Football also equals 83. Jim Brown's 83 years old right now. Lamar Jackson just became 8-3 in the regular season by losing this game. See how that goes? A beautiful riddle. And yeah. I'm surprised they didn't keep Cleveland on 33 points, though. Cleveland equals 33. I know why the Ravens went down with 25, though. I know why they went down with 25. Ravens is 25. Remember the Ravens Monday night game? Did I say Ravens? I mean Browns. The Browns Monday night game where they beat the Jets 23-3. Look at Odell Beckham. You see how Odell Beckham equals 233? You see how 233 is the 13th Fibonacci number, like how he wears number 13. That name of the stadium, what they changed it to in Cleveland, also equals 233. You see how Odell Beckham's also 91? 91's the 13th triangular number. Look at Browns 91, and again look at Cleveland Browns 169, which is what has a square root of 13. You see that? So no wonder Odell Beckham's playing for the Browns in this just amazing season. Oh my God, the Browns are 2-2. And they did that against the Ravens, right? Who used to be the Browns. Ravens is 79 as well, which is the 22nd prime. And Ravens is also 83, like how Lamar Jackson's 83. And you see how the Ravens were once the Cleveland Browns, which is 83. And again, football's 83. And Jim Brown's 83. So, shout out to my boy Rich. He wanted a good game. I said, those Browns, man, those Browns are probably the game of the weekend. So, Panthers at Texans. Now, this game was another type of ball breaker game because very hard to call. The Panthers came into the game on 195 losses, right? For all time, right? And look at Houston Texans, 195. So they had a chance to stay on 195 losses, which they did, right? Now, here's the crazy thing, and you can look this up, it's all true. You see how Houston's 77? Today has 77 date numerology, and had Houston won the game, they would have got their 77th home win as a franchise all time. But they failed to do that. They failed to do that. And, you know, if you're on my Patreon, I show you these scenarios, and I say, you know, these are the games where you're kind of playing with fire. So Texans didn't get 77. Panthers did stay on 195. And both teams are now 2-2. That was something else we talked about. Texans equals 79 as well, the 22nd prime number. So I'll give you a little preview for next week. Houston, look at the numbers up here. What could their record become next week if they're 2-2? That would make sense here. Okay, so those are the early games. We're having a great day over here. Again, you know, we have a lot of great days with this knowledge. This knowledge gives you an edge like no other because this is the language which all games are scripted by in all of the world of sports. And don't start asking me, what about in other countries? I just said, in all of the world of sports. And I don't use the word world like World Series or World Champions when you're talking about U.S. stuff. I'm talking about all of the world. English is the language of the world. Professional sports worldwide are controlled by Masonry. Masonry works by this code. This is how it's done. So for the gentleman who called in, you're welcome to call back. And, man, the Buccaneers are putting on the Rams. That is an interesting game. Interesting. Okay. So I see the Nationals are on their way to their 50th win up there. Washington equals 50. Today's got the 50-day numerology. If anybody wants to call back in, more than welcome to. If not, I'll wrap it up and get back to work because there's always more to do. So Richard Quinn, don't worry about the trolls, man. You're always like trying to argue with the trolls. We're not worried about the trolls, Richard. There's no one to argue with, man. The work's all, documented. 6 years straight of dominating sports. We don't worry about the trolls who come here and talk out of their ass with their little wieners. We're not worried about them, Richard. I don't know why every time I go to the chat, Richard's fighting with some troll. Richard, stop. Stop, man. It's a bad look to always be giving the trolls attention. It's like, you don't get it, man. The trolls are here to troll. Now Rich is calling me to say that he what is it, Richard? What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Let me get this off, okay? Hey, can you hear me good?
I hear you just fine.
Hey, bro, I just wanted to call in because I'm trying to address the people in the chat. There's a couple people that think that sports aren't rigged.
And we're not worried about those people one bit. I don't even want to talk to them. I don't want to give them any attention.
Don't we want to teach? No, they're not. I don't think they're not sitting there like being that out of line or anything. I think it's our job to teach them.
Well, we are
Tell 'em a
teaching
couple
them.
riddle
We are
ones.
teaching them. We've been teaching them for 6 years straight. I mean, some people are just fucking retarded to put it bluntly, and they're just too fucking retarded to grasp what's obvious. I mean, to not think that sports are rigged, you literally got to be fucking retarded. Period. End of discussion. You don't even need this knowledge. Professional sports are the biggest joke in the history of jokes.
I agree.
So the reality is, a lot of people are fucking retarded. We're here to help them out, but you can't help out every last fucking retard, and there's no other way to put it. But Rich, I'm tired of going to the chat and seeing you just leave these people alone. Just ignore them. Just let them sit in the fucking retard corner right where they belong. There's nothing more to say about it.
Well, bro, yeah, with all due respect, though, I was actually trying to put my arm out here and teach the person. You know what I'm saying?
We are
Maybe
teaching
they
them.
just
Trust me, if they're in this chat crying about how sports aren't rigged, they're probably trolls. Period.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I was just trying to help, bro.
No,
'cause,
nobody's
I
searching for
teach
rigged
people-
sports. Nobody's searching for a rigged sports video, especially on my channel, which is censored and blocked. You know that nobody can even find unless they're trolling. So you gotta put two and two together, Rich.
All right. Well, just so you know, and I'll get off here. I won't bother with it. But I have like 7 picture posts on Daily Dose of Gematria that proves that sports are rigged beyond a shadow of a doubt. And that's what I try to point to people, whether they're a troll or not. I think it's my job to teach people. That's what I do all day long. So.
All right. Well, I respect that. All right, appreciate it, Rich.
Yeah, I wasn't fighting back no trolls or nothing like that. I was actually trying to tell them a couple riddles right here on the air, so they could get a clue.
Sure.
Maybe they're new here. Maybe they're new. You know.
They're probably a troll under a new account. Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, just tell them they can go to Daily Dose of Gematria and inbox me, and I'll prove it to them. And that goes for anybody, people who don't even know about this stuff. Always.
All right, great. Appreciate it, Rich.
Bro.
All right, take care, man. See you. Yeah, I mean, people who don't think sports are rigged, we're talking about the dumbest of the dumbest people. I mean, you just got to be fucking dumb. You think when a quarterback drops back and just stops his feet and holds the ball down like this, like Aaron Rodgers on Thursday night, you don't think that's a rigged play? That he's just holding the ball out there for the sack fumble? I mean, what's Aaron Rodgers doing? He drops back, comes to a dead stop, puts his arm down and just sets the ball here so it gets stripped. You don't think that's a rigged play? I mean, you got to be fucking dumb. So nobody's going to do that in the NFL. You got 300-pound men who run 40s in 4.5 seconds. You're just going to come flat-footed and just anchor point there and just put the ball in the dumbest spot like he's waiting for a State Farm commercial take 2. I mean, come on. So, I mean, sports are just a joke. Let's go back to how the NBA Finals ended. Do you guys remember how the NBA Finals ended this year? How many points did the Warriors lose by? Just barely? Was there a reason to drop back and try to shoot a three-pointer from 10 feet behind the three-point line? I mean, how fucking dumb you gotta be? You'd be cut. You wouldn't even be in the NBA anymore if it was real. Sorry, no one that fucking dumb is gonna play in the NBA. Caller?
You're exposing these leagues for what the fraud that they are, man. You are destroying it today, dude. You're killing it.
Well, we did last week too, didn't we?
Yeah, but this week it's like every game you're right on top of it, man. You see it from beginning to end, man. And I just want to tell your viewers out there, you don't need a lot to make a lot of this.
Right.
Here's what I've got cooking right now. I already hit a couple parlays with KC and the Browns. Everything I did was around the Browns today, and I maybe invested $150. So if the Browns lose today, fuck it, I lose $150. So right now I got a 5-team parlay alive, right? I took that beautiful Geronimo, the Geronimo riddle we had the other day with the Nationals.
Right.
I have that, plus the Browns, plus the Chargers, plus the Chiefs, Cowboys pending. So 40-50 to win 552. So right now I got that one. It's in the bag, right? So all I'll do is just go hedge New Orleans, right?
Right.
Here's the other play I got going. This is 16 parlay for $25. Browns through, Chargers through, Chiefs through, Patriots through. I took the Cubs last night. They were plus 170. You love the Cubs.
That was yesterday. Yeah, the Cubs were great yesterday. Today, St. Louis was good.
So, yeah, I didn't even look at baseball today because I had so much action from games you called all fucking week that were right. That are, that are parlayed with today's football games. So on this one, $25 pay $747.27, right? All I need is the Cowboys. So I have the Cowboys in 2 parlays that could potentially pay $750 plus $550, $1,300, right?
Very nice, man. Very nice.
So I mean, all I'm going to do is, and then I'll get the Saints too, right? I'll get the Saints in the money. So it's not like I have to invest a lot. I can put $300 on the Saints tonight, and it's a win. I'm going to win a lot or a little bit.
So you're taking the Saints. You're taking the Saints tonight?
No, I have the Cowboys in 2 parlays.
Okay.
I just told you.
I see. I got you. Your hedge method. I got you.
So
Okay.
hedge my bet, right? I have them. They don't have me now. I've got them. Check this bet out. It's a $10 parlay or $10 parlay. 10 teams. Browns plus 7.5. Giants, Chargers, Chiefs, Patriots, Titans, Seahawks, which look good. I need Vikings, Cowboys, and Steelers.
Woo, that's a lot.
Yeah, $10 pays over $1,000. A $10 fucking bet.
Well, and like last year, college basketball, there were some awesome riddles. We had people turn $1 into $200 on some really easy parlays, just the way things lined up those certain days. So yeah, that's what you can do with this. You can literally turn $1 into $200.
You don't need to get them all right. If I'm coming to the Monday night game, I'm going to make money on that. I got $10 invested, looking at over $1,000. And then I got one more still riding. Here's a $10 one too. Here's my other one that's still alive. Browns, Giants, Chargers, Buccaneers. Buccaneers were plus 350 today.
Right.
With the Vikings and Cowboys. So if the Vikings win, if they win this afternoon, this is another bet where I have Dallas sitting in the hole with 2 other parlays. $10 pays almost $1,000.
Yeah, and that's what you can do with this knowledge, and a lot of people have had successful bets like that.
Call in because anybody who wants to dispute this, yeah, you're a fucking retard. You don't want to see the reality of what you live in. And I know because I gambled and gambled for a long time. I talked about this before. This gives you an advantage over the casino. They always have an advantage on you. But when you can figure out what the fucking script is before it's rolled out, I mean, just like in the movies, Zach. Only now you're proving that. That's exactly how it is.
Right. Yeah. I encourage people to go back and watch the movie Casino and listen to what they say about Robert De Niro's character, the way he called games, all the things he paid attention to. So.
Yes. All that stuff, man, just been right in front of our face all these years, There's so much truth that people just couldn't believe on their, imagine on their wildest dreams that really that's what it is and it's going on. And, yeah, man, you've been proving it for, 6 years now going on, brother. So, yeah, I just wanted to call in and give my 2 cents because, yeah, anybody that wants to dismiss this or deny it, man, you're just weak. You're weak.
So do you feel like you're getting your money's worth for $5 a month?
I feel like we're screwing you over, man.
Hey,
but man, when I hit big, I take care of you, though. So
you're right. So that's what kills me about my followers, man, is they win huge and they brag about their earnings, and only 2 people tip. He's one of the 2, and I'm just like, come on, you guys, only charge you $5. Drop a tip sometime. But
yeah, man. This is about furthering this movement, man, and that's really what I want to see done. I can't let this stuff occupy my too much. I know that, but if I can make some money off of it, which I do, I'm going to do it. Why not? I'll be in Vegas here in a week or so. So and I take this knowledge with me everywhere I go now. Everywhere I go.
Indeed. Well, congratulations, man. Glad you're winning big.
Thanks for everything you're doing, Zach.
Welcome. All right, take care, man.
Bye.
Yeah, since he brought up that Skull and Bones ritual, which I put the video out, I put it on my my new channel. I told you guys what my new channel is. Apparently 10,000 people have watched the new channel video, but only 2,000 have signed up. Fuck you, YouTube. But anyway, here was the Skull and Bones ritual. This is just one of those done deals in sports. I mean, I like to say that nothing's a guarantee, but riddles like this they're pretty much a guarantee. So, we put this out before the game was played, put it out for free. It was the Nationals manager's 322nd game, and he was sitting on 149 losses, right? And Skull and Bones equals 149. Skull and Bones identifies through the number 322. And these numbers come together a lot. 149, 322. Like I said in the video I made, enemy of the state. hour and 49 minutes into the film, Will Smith looks at his watch, and it's 3:22. That film also came out on November 18th, the 322nd day of the year. You just saw 149,322 with the Robert Mueller thing. If you search my blog for 149,322, you'll see other examples throughout history. But this was the latest example we catch. And realize, I mean, we only catch so much stuff. I'm sure it happens all the time. But anyway, this was the thing. Skull and Bones, Prescott Bush, a member. Father of George H.W. Bush, grandfather of George W. Bush. The story is that he stole Geronimo's skull. And the Nationals were playing the Cleveland Indians, right? So I just had to go look. I was like, I wonder how many days it is from the death of Geronimo to the game that we were talking about. And Geronimo died on the 48th day of the year. The 48th day, right? This riddle was going down on a date with 48 numerology. Cleveland equals 48, and the Nationals were going for their 48th home win. Plus, the game was 223 days from the anniversary of Geronimo's death, which is the 48th prime number. You see, Cleveland 48, 48 date numerology. This screenshot's before the game was played, but the Nationals picked up their 48th win. And they won 8-2, and guess what Washington Nationals equals? Bet you can guess. 82 in the most pure cipher. Did the Nationals win 10-7 yesterday? Yesterday, the Nationals picked up their 49th win on a 49-date numerology, and they won 10-7, and Washington's 49. And today, they're on their way to their 50th home win on the 50-date numerology, and notice Washington's also 50. See how it works? So, anyhow, these kind of riddles go on more often than you realize. There were 3 games this year we called with the Texas Rangers that were all big upsets, and they were all synced up with the death of George H.W. Bush. And the first one we called, it was all about 94, the way the riddle all came together. George Herbert Walker Bush died at age 94 by the numbers last year, and the score of the game ended up being 9-4. We just had to laugh. Now, do realize, these riddles don't come through too. Every single day there's riddles we document that don't come through. But the thing is, the majority of them do. The majority do. And the reality is the average gambler loses almost every single day, but they keep betting because they think it's going to be their lucky day. They're finally going to get lucky. The tide's going to change. They're addicted. So they go out and place another bet and they lose again, and they place another bet and they lose again. Because they use a logical part of their brain to place their bets, but because these games are rigged, they're illogical. You have to know the scripting, how they're scripted to see through it. That's why the Browns were a huge underdog against these Ravens that look almost unbeatable. They just barely lost to the Chiefs. Then they get their asses handed to them by the Browns at home. Well, the riddle was as clear as day for that game. That's where this knowledge really pays. There's just some riddles where you're just like, okay, I know that's the riddle. That one's not going to fail me. And those usually don't. So, anyway. If you don't think sports are rigged, I'm sorry that you got too few IQ points. That's what the tyrants who control the pro sports love. They love controlling the people with the few IQ points, the missing brain cells. Because that's who goes into these stadiums day after day. Buys the jerseys, wears the name of another person on their back, some asshole who doesn't give 2 shits about them, some sociopath, somebody who doesn't care about anything but money and fame. That's who's in these pro sports leagues. That's it, That's it. So, I'm going to wrap it up there. Oh, hold on. We got another caller, so I guess I'm going to stay on for another minute. Caller?
What's up, Zach? Brother Paul, 2-minute warning.
What's up, man?
What's up? You having a good day, man?
I'm having a good day. What's up?
All right. So, quick thought. I don't listen to too much of the sports ever since, found out it's all rigged and shit, but thought just hit me. As far as, new currency money thing goes, there's got to be at least one brother or sister out there that are in either college or pros, that are wanting to spill the beans or whatever. My thought is, and it's the same thing with other people, whistleblowers, the whole thing is they have usually, the threat of death or harm to their families and stuff, which, that makes sense. That would keep people somewhat scared, right?
Sure.
So I'm just thinking,
And don't you think there's got to be a way to, like, if somebody's ready to spill the beans, to at least how, like, celebrities or whatever these the sports figures and stuff have so much money, we could keep a camera or whatever, keep all their folks safe with other people if they have that thought of something bad happening. And then I was just thinking, like, once that becomes mainstream known too, that this shit's all rigged, like, think about basically the amount of money pot to, everything with the colleges and the pros to just go back to us. I don't know. That's just a thought.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
You have a good rest of the day, brother.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care. Yeah, when it comes to college, it's fixed too, but I think it's mostly through the coaches and the refs and a few key players who probably have fathers in Freemasonry and whatnot. So the people who could spill the beans, I'm not sure that they would. And I think a lot of these college guys are getting money, despite what the public perception is. But yeah, it's the same thing at the college stage. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up there, you guys. I need to go be healthy. I've been sitting in front of this computer way too long. It's time to go get some exercise. Till next time, Truth Seeker.